Hey everyone, and welcome. For forever, the world of SEO has been obsessed with one thing, right? Backlinks. But what if I told you there's another, way more subtle force at play, a signal that's all about conversation and reputation? So today, we're going to dive into what this signal is and why it's a total game changer.
I mean, just think about it for a second. We've all been trained to believe that a direct, clickable link is the ultimate stamp of approval online. And don't get me wrong, they're still incredibly important. But search engines are getting smarter. Like, way smarter. Almost spooky smart in how they understand the web.
And the answer? Well, it might just surprise you. We're talking about conversation. The simple act of people talking about your brand online, even without a link, is becoming an incredibly powerful signal. It's this huge shift, We're moving away from just counting links and starting to really understand what a brand's actual reputation is.
All right, so to really wrap our heads around this, let's first break down what a brand mention actually is. Because, it's a lot more than just a tag you see on social media. Think of a brand mention as basically digital word of mouth. It's that simple. Anytime, anywhere online that someone types out your brand's name in an article, a forum, a review, boom, that's a mention. It's like a little flare sent up to the search engines that says, hey, people are talking about this thing over here.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. As you can see here, not all mentions are created equal. Yeah, a linked mention, that's still the gold standard, no doubt about it. High value. But check this out, unlinked mentions, where they just type out your name. Still medium value. Google is smart enough to see that and go, okay, I know who they're talking about. They're like implied links. And this last one, AI generated? Whoa, that's the new frontier, right? Getting mentioned in an AI overview is becoming a massive deal.
And these mentions, they pop up everywhere. You've got the big ones like in a major news article, but then you've also got someone just dropping your name in a random Reddit thread. Even a podcast host just casually name-dropping a product. If that gets into the transcript, yep, search engines see it. It all adds up, painting this huge picture of your brand's vibe online.
So this all begs a pretty big question, right? If there's no link, how on earth does Google actually know what's going on? It feels like magic, but it's not. It's just some seriously cool tech.
I mean, really, how does Google see the words XYZ skincare in some random blog post and connect that to the idea that, hey, this brand is an authority on skin hydration? How does it do that?
Well, the first piece of the magic is something called natural language processing, or NLP. This is basically how Google learned to read like you and me. It's not just spotting keywords anymore. It's understanding the vibe, the tone. It knows that this serum is amazing is a good thing, and this cleanser wrecked my skin is, well, not so good.
Okay, next up, entities. An entity is just a thing that Google understands is real and distinct. It could be a person, a place, a product, or a brand. When your brand gets mentioned over and over in the right places, Google's brain kind of switches. It stops seeing your brand name as just a bunch of letters and starts seeing it as a thing, a real-world entity. And trust me, becoming an entity in Google's eyes, that is a huge deal.
And where do all these entities live? They live inside something called the knowledge graph. Just imagine it's Google's brain, this gigantic, interconnected web of everything it knows about everything. Each mention of your brand helps build out your little corner of that web, connecting you to all the right topics and ideas.
And all this stuff, the sentiment, the entities, the knowledge graph, it all feeds into this big concept Google calls EEAT. That stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. It's basically Google's BS detector, its credibility score. So let's say a well-respected dermatologist mentions your skincare brand on her blog. That's not just a mention, it's a massive vote of confidence that directly pumps up your EEAT score.
All right, I know this flowchart looks a little intimidating, but the idea behind it is actually pretty simple. Basically, search engines are constantly doing this. They collect the data, the mention, they process it by analyzing the language, and then they classify it. Is this good? Is this bad? Or is it just neutral? It's a non-stop feedback loop that helps them understand your reputation.
Okay, that was a lot of the how it works. Now for the really important part. Why should you actually care about any of this? Because all this techie stuff translates into very real results that you can actually see.
Look, if you take away just one thing from all this, let it be this quote right here. Today, brand mentions are trust signals. Period. They're like social proof, but for search engines. They help Google figure out who the heck you are and if you're legit, all without a single backlink in sight.
And that trust?
it directly translates into better visibility online. You know those people also ask boxes or the featured snippets at the top of the page? Yeah, this helps you get there. And this is the big one. As AI starts taking over search, these mentions are absolutely crucial for getting your brand included in those AI overviews, where people get answers without even needing to click.
Okay, let's look at our real-world example of this, and it's one of the most wonderfully chaotic examples I can think of. The McDonald's Grimace Shake.
Get this, in just 1 month, June of 2023, mentions of this silly purple milkshake reached over 1.3 billion people. It was all because of this bizarre TikTok trend where people would drink the shake and then pretend they were in a horror movie. It made no sense, and it went completely viral.
Now, another brand might have freaked out. But McDonald's? Oh, they played it perfectly. They just leaned right into the chaos. They were watching what people were saying. They started engaging with the memes in Grimace's own voice. They just kept it fun and light. And the result? A massive global conversation that sent their brand visibility through the roof. And it was all driven by people just talking. No links needed.
So the big question is, how can you harness this power? Let's get practical. Let's talk playbook.
Okay, probably the biggest bang for your buck strategy here is turning an unlinked mention into a backlink. And the process is surprisingly simple. Step 1, make sure the site is actually legit and relevant. Step 2, figure out who to email, the author and editor. Step 3, write a really nice personalized email. And Step 4, if you don't hear back, it's totally okay to send one polite follow-up.
And honestly, your email can be as simple as this. See? It's friendly, it's grateful, and it makes the request seem like you're just trying to help their readers. It's not a demand, it's a helpful suggestion. This works way more often than you think because, hey, they already like you enough to talk about you.
And that really brings us to the final big idea here. Backlinks are about getting a vote, but brand mentions, they're about earning a voice. They prove you're relevant enough to be part of the conversation. So maybe the question we should be asking isn't just, how do I get more links? Maybe the real question is, what conversation should my brand be a part of next?